What's up, people? Doing all that shouting, but that's enough of that. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all. But first, we must get into what I often refer affectionately as Tradish Raider Bear Live. First comment, woo, MVP tonight goes to, one more time, Dustin King. D, sup, man? Welcome to the show, man. Look at you. Just, the number one contender. Clearly, Dustin King for the heavyweight title here at Raider Bear Family page of who carries and wins more golds than anyone else. Speaking of which, the reigning, defending heavyweight champion of the world, Josh Russell, number 2, the silver medalist tonight. I can't believe it. Whoa, I got my notepad and it's blocking me. Get out of here. Third place, my bronze medal. I'm actually excited that I get to shout this name. Is that weird? Third place, Vincent Rubalcaba. What's up, Vincent? Welcome to the show, Vincenzo, our good friend here at Raider Bear Family page. Funny dude. Okay. I'm just checking to see I've got my notes. My notes have notes and stuff I needed to talk to you guys about. So I got to make sure I have it all right here because I had to move it for a second. I want to make sure I didn't take it out of order. Okay, cool. Okay, so lots to talk about tonight. I'm going to tell you some things I found out, some stuff we have to discuss, and then I'm going to answer your questions. But first, let me say hi to everyone, and then we'll get right to it. Anna Diaz Rincon, always there for a Raider Bear, my first subscriber ever. What's good, Jason Morales? What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. And hi, you're right back, Anna. Ken Calhoun, what's up, Kim? Welcome to the show. Always there for a Raider Bear. John the Leon, what's up, John? Welcome to the show. Jim Vanderlyn, Bear! Jim, your shirt's on its way tomorrow. Salute Raider Bear Nation. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. If Aaron Rodgers is out of his darkness retreat yet. Jason, I don't think as of yet he is not out. Okay, let me see here. Do. Okay, there we go. Oh. So, some boy high school basketball championship at work today for my breaks. Eric Jet. Okay. Ghost in the house. Oh, the legend 209. What's up, brother? The ghost in Merced. Ghost Raider. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, wow. Look who's in the house. Princetta. Hi, Princetta. Welcome to the show. Family in the house. Ronald Aigu, Princetta. I got all my peeps in here. Jason Morales says it sounds good now. Okay. Yeah, I moved my mic for a moment. Oh, hi, Val. Hi, Tommy. Hey, little buddy. Mwah. Welcome to the show, champ. Doc Raider, appreciate the love. Very good, Jim. Sounds good now? Awesome. Okay, it's too loud here because of these games, so I'm hiding in the bathroom. Eric Jet, don't give us any more information. Aaron Ramos, what's up? Aaron Ramos, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Shane Street, my guy right there. Okay, he's living life like me. Okay, he really is. Beautiful wife, beautiful kids. Me and him got a lot in common. It's like we're twins. Joseph Bear, I heard that Rodgers might not take a first. Edgar Lucky De Leon, I've been trying to say that. Everyone says I'm crazy and that we're going to have to give the Packers everything we got. And I don't agree with that. In fact, I would argue that it might take a package, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a number one. Because they're done with Aaron Rodgers, and they pretty much made it clear. In other words, the Green Bay Packers have lost a little bit of leverage in negotiations because we know they want to make a deal. There's no maybe about it anymore. Aaron Rodgers will not be a Packer, period. Alfonso Cardenas, what's up, brother? That's been too long. Jerry Melita, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. Yeah, there's so much to talk about. There's stuff with the draft. There's mock stuff going on. So much to talk about. Raiders, Josh Ybarra just checking in, Bear. Hope you and the familia are wonderful. We are wonderful. We're doing great, and I appreciate that, Josh. And consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page on Facebook, and like and follow and subscribe to Raider Bear Live on YouTube. We're doing big things. I've got a whole new show. New electronics, new this, new that, still working out the kinks on some of it, but we're going to get this crispy, and as soon as I do, it's going to be that much better Raider Bear than you've ever seen before. Hi, Mr. Raider Bear. It's Tommy. You know that I'm an Eagles fan, but I kind of like the Raiders because of Grampy. Do you think it's okay to have an NFC and an NFC team to root for? Of course it is, Tommy. It absolutely is okay. You don't want to have two teams in the same division. But it's okay to have an AFC and an NFC team. That's absolutely okay. And if anyone argues with you about that, Tommy, remember, it's your choice. Don't let other kids or other fans ever make you feel like you can't feel that way. You're right. The New York Jets are about to overpay for mediocre play. Jason Morales is giving away who he thinks the Jets are going to sign at quarterback in the most hit him in the balls sort of way. Honestly, I feel the same way, Jason. I don't think Derek Carr is really going to win in New York. I just don't see it. And it goes beyond the cold weather. It goes beyond that. I don't think the Jets are really that as reliable as people would like or people would think. I'm still not sure about that head coach. And I think he's good, but I don't know that he's going to get him over the top. And more importantly, their offensive line is bad. And so Derek Carr's going to be running for his life. And in the cold, I don't think so. Eric Jet said he heard that Aaron Rodgers is going back to the Packers on the news. Eric Jet, I haven't seen that anywhere. And to be honest with you, I know it's a possibility still, but I don't see it. Now, if it happens, it can only happen if then something else happens. And that something else is Jordan Love would then have to be moved. And that's interesting because the guy's done nothing but sit on the bench. You know what I mean? He's a big, strong guy. He's been learning the game of football. you could rightfully bring him in, and it would be like you were bringing in your quarterback of the franchise's future, a guy you want around for 5-6 years. He'd easily be able to do that. How much would we have to pay Rodgers per year for 2 or 3 years? Dustin King, it would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 million, maybe give or take a little more. If we don't have to give up the 7th pick, I'm in on it. David Pell-Cliver, I agree with that, but at the same time, is the number 7 pick overall worth more than Aaron Rodgers? I would argue it's not, because the likelihood that you're going to pull someone out of the college ranks, even at number 7, that's going to have more of an impact that Aaron Rodgers would, is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. I mean, almost zero unlikely. Mark Vargas, there. What's up, Mark? I got, oh, okay. Jim, I read what you said. I'll get back to your messages, bro. You got to be patient. I get that from 1,000 people. It's hard for me. Joe Bedard, sup, brother Bear? It's been a minute. Just even win, baby. Go Raiders. All right, Joe. Aaron Ramos in the Super Bowl. I always root for the NFC team. Only AFC team to win a Super Bowl is the Raiders for me. Yeah, right on. I agree. Tommy, you always root for your birds, even if they're playing our Raiders. I respect you for that. Jeff Darlington is one reporting that Rodgers is going back to the Packers. You know, I could get that, Glenn Ellerly, but I'll believe it when I see it. You know what I mean? Because I just don't believe that the Green Bay Packers think their best alternative is that guy. If it's me, I give Jordan Love a season, draft a young quarterback, and get whatever I can for Aaron Rodgers. Because bringing back Aaron Rodgers is futile. It's no different than bringing back Derek Carr. Does anyone think if we brought back Derek Carr for 2 more years that he was going to win one? I don't. And he would have had the exact same excuses. All the defense isn't good enough. Oh, I'm not being allowed to audible. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I'd rather take my chances in any other direction than Derek Carr, because we already know what Derek Carr produces. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We've done 9 years of insanity. I've had enough. Well, Princetta Jean, I agree with your comment. I would say to you that someone fresh could be like someone like Jordan Love. I would love that. Pun intended. Love, love, love. I would love that. Because is he this great quarterback? Do we know anything really about him? No. But I say go with a guy that's young. Maybe he's a franchise guy. Maybe he shows up and plays well in our system, and we get this young, tall, strong, mid-20s quarterback that could give us a decade of football. And maybe the Green Bay Packers don't know what they have. I would be interested in seeing what Jordan Love gives. I really do. Jimmy Mata, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. Family in the house. Bear, what's up? Oh, no, never apologize, especially if you were at church. Corinna. I am not more important than church. Thus, that's why you were late. I know you get it. I keep reading it's going to be Jimmy G or Mac Jones, but more than likely it's porn star Jimmy because he's a free agent and the Raiders don't have to give up picks. Jose Chiriquez, I would say it's neither, and more likely Jared Stidham than either of those decisions. Because Jimmy G is a win right now quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a win right now quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers, different from Jimmy in the sense of Aaron Rodgers has won a ring, and he's a greater arm talent than Jimmy G will ever be. Jimmy G shouldn't even be spoken of in the same sentence with Aaron Rodgers. We have to remember Jimmy G was nothing but a backup to Tom Brady. And he was never a starter until he was given an opportunity by the Niners. And then he did well, but only, so-so. He never really had the trust of Shanahan, who at one point only let him throw 6 passes in a particular game when they were getting ready to go into the playoffs. That is a total lack of faith in your quarterback. I think Jimmy Garoppolo sucks, and his resume hides it. because he's able to do just enough on good teams. Because think about where he's been in 2 teams in his career. The Patriots winning all those rings they had almost nothing to do with, and the Niners, a really high winning percentage with the Niners because of that incredible defense, the running game, and a pretty smart offensive coordinator. Mark Vargas, my family's doing well. I appreciate that, brother. Kim Calhoun, I don't like Aaron Rodgers at all. It's just business. Kim, I would be willing to guess that wherever you work, if you have a job, wherever you work, I'm willing to bet there's someone there you don't like. And even at jobs we work at, there's always someone there we don't like. They're usually good at their job or good enough at their job that's why they're still there. They may be a curmudgeon, but they can do their job. Well, I don't care if people like him or not. I don't care about his COVID status. I don't care about the fact that he's a bold-faced liar. I care about the fact that he has God's gift in his right arm and he can win us a ring. That's it. But I think we're all forgetting about Dallas. I think Dallas is very quietly lurking in the background and thinking about moving on from the Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott era. I heard a show today talk about the Ezekiel Elliott era, and one of the analysts on the show got mad saying it's not fair calling a running back an era, but it kind of was. You know what I mean? He drew all the spotlight. He was constantly doing the eat thing. You know what I mean? He wanted the hot spotlight on him. Well, here it is, and you look fat and old. Troy Gill, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I might be crazy, but no might about it, Ted. Ted Thane, I think I might be crazy, but I'd rather trade for Love than Rodgers. Well, now you see what I'm saying, Ted. Maybe if they are going to stay with Aaron Rodgers, take Jordan Love from them. You could get him cheap still. For one more year, you can get him cheap still. And we can look for someone in the draft, let him hold the clipboard for a year unless he pans out nicely. And then maybe you let the guy behind him sit for maybe 2 years if Love's good. And then you can trade the guy behind him as a high former draft pick. If we had Will Levis and then we let him sit for 2 years, you know how hot other NFL teams would be to take that guy off our hands? So, Will Nanoff, what's up? The crazy squirrel in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Yeah, Jim, there's no doubt about that. There's no way Jordan Love stays if that happens. James Walker, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I got you and the lovely missus in the house. I love my job. I watch my grandkids. Aw, that's nice, Kim. Kim Calhoun says, who do you want, Bear? You know, no one ever asks me that. I'm always not prepared for that question because I'm more of a reporter. I investigate. I report what I find out. I report the trends. I'll bring up the rumors, that kind of thing every once in a while if I think the rumor has validity. And you guys notice I don't bring up too many rumors unless I've had a chance to research and I feel like there's a reason to discuss it because it's a genuine possibility. But who would I want him to? I'll be honest with you. I've been saying since the beginning, I feel like the Raiders at 7 should take Peter Skoronski. I feel like if you go at right tackle with a guy like that, you have a chance to win immediately. Because when you solidify your offensive line, you can just do more things with your quarterback and your running back that you couldn't do before. Okay, now that's 1. 2, there's a guy, let me look at my notes real quick because I just wrote his name down tonight because he's just becoming a free agent. Taylor Lewin, he's a 3-time Pro Bowl left tackle, but he's played right tackle. And at 9 years experience, it could be real interesting to bring in a guy like that that's going to bring in a 3-time Pro Bowl experience, 9 years with the Titans as a starter. And more importantly, there is a bridge there to the Raiders. Dave Ziegler was this guy's high school football coach at one point. He was even a counselor for Taylor Lewin. Yeah, I keep forgetting his name. Taylor Lewin. Dave Ziegler was his counselor and head coach of his high school team. So there's a friendship there, I'm sure. And so if he wants Lewin, I'm sure there's channels where they can talk. that settles the right tackle position, in my opinion. So then you could look away from Skoronski. So now if they do that, I trade with the Cardinals up to 3, give them our 7 and a 5, and get Will Levis of Kentucky. And everyone's getting on board with that now. And most of you who watch my show, I was the first to say Will Levis to the Raiders. I said it months ago that Will Levis was the guy I wanted. If we're going to bring in a young quarterback, I don't want Bryce Young. I don't want CJ Stroud. Those guys are Ferraris. To me, Ferraris don't always pan out in the NFL. More often than not, they're more flash than substance. I want to see Will Levis in silver and black. If we go young quarterback, I want Will Levis. If we don't go young quarterback and we don't go young right tackle in Skoronski because of the free agency and Taylor Lewin, I think the Taylor Lewin thing just may happen. It just makes too much sense. So he may come to the Raiders. He actually did make a point. He had a comment where Taylor Lewin said to a reporter that it's cool that my former counselor and high school coach works for the coolest team in the NFL. He said the coolest team in the NFL, and he was talking about the Raiders. So that might have just been his way of, through the press, kind of hinting, come on, give a brother a job. And so Taylor Lewin may come to the Raiders. Rodgers can bring a Super Bowl this coming year in Vegas. And if we can pick Levis or Richardson, excuse me. Good point, Edgard. Josh Ybarra, you're up next. Now, Edgard Lucky DeLeon, as far as Rodgers and bringing a Super Bowl, yes, he probably is. I mean, if we're going to just talk about Super Bowl, not how many years this quarterback would be good for us, or not how much it would cost and things like that. If you take out all the variables, okay, all the different scenarios, and you just ask this question, who is the most likely quarterback for us to sign and immediately attack a Super Bowl? It's got to be Aaron Rodgers. I can't see any other quarterback where it's more obvious that if you put him in with the Raiders, we have a genuine shot of a Super Bowl, whereas with every other quarterback, it's not there. It's maybe. It might make the playoffs. With other veterans, you might click in there. But with Aaron, I see Super Bowl possibilities because of the connection to Davante Adams. I realize we've all talked about the connection to Davante Adams until we were all sick of it. But it can't be talked about enough because of the importance of what it would bring to our offense. Those two guys had a marriage that was unstoppable. You bring that to the Raiders, we walk into a Super Bowl, and we have to defend our ground. This next Super Bowl is in Las Vegas, and Kansas City wants to embarrass us. Kansas City wants to win a Super Bowl on our ground. I don't even want them to make it to the Super Bowl. I want us to beat them twice, and then I want them to suffer a setback, maybe an injury, and then be beaten in the playoffs and not even make it there. I don't even want them in Vegas for the Super Bowl, let alone if they lose. Pushing them back and making them lose the Super Bowl in Vegas would be good, but I don't even want them there. Vernon Moshman, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Okay, Josh, the Cowboys, it's not all of a sudden. The Cowboys, the moment the season ended, there were whispers that Dak and Ezekiel Elliott might be gone and that they might do a nice little cleaning house, but only on the offensive side of the ball. They want to add some more talent on the offensive line. They're thinking about a young quarterback, and they're thinking about a young running back behind Pollard because Pollard gets hurt a lot. Not a young running back behind Pollard, a veteran running back in free agency to put behind Pollard. Make Pollard the number one, and then make the veteran, take the blunt of the runs to give Pollard his rest, and if he should get hurt, because as we saw, Pollard got hurt this last season. Okay, so Vernon Moshman, do you actually think our front office has a plan in the place, or are they just waiting on Rodgers' deal to fall through and tell the fans they tried and throw something on the field and take another swing at something the following year? Vernon Moshman, no, great profile picture, brother, looking good. I would say this to you. If we don't get Aaron Rodgers, it's not because they're waiting for something to fall through. it's because they never intended to go after Aaron Rodgers. They will either very obviously, plainly be seen as going to Aaron Rodgers and then we'll sign him, or we'll never have any inkling of whether they're doing or not other than all these rumors. And then all of a sudden they'll say, nope, we told you at the end of last year that we were going to give Jarrett Stidham an honest opportunity. So maybe we draft someone young maybe we pull our quarterback young out of the draft. But I have Dave Ziegler just days ago. This is his quote. Don't expect immediate answers at quarterback. It may not come this year. That's a quote from Dave Ziegler. Don't expect immediate answers at quarterback. It may not come this year. So in other words, what they're saying is maybe they do something strange, like go get someone young, but young in free agency, like a Jordan Love, and then have him compete for the job with a Jacoby Brissett, someone who already knows the job. That way now you could, in effect, sign both guys because you can get both guys cheap. You could end up, whoever wins it, giving them the number one spot. Whoever doesn't, they get the number two. And then meanwhile, next year, you could still have another look at a young quarterback coming in from the draft, maybe make a trade with someone, et cetera, because no one's going to expect you to stick with and stay on Jacoby Brissett and Jordan Love. If you decide to make a move on either of those guys, no one in Raider Nation is going to go, no, you know what I mean, unless they play fantastic in the short amount of time that they're here. Frank Raider Valou, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. This regime is good at taking quarterbacks and flipping them for picks a few years later. Okay. No first-round quarterback. Troy Gill, I got to say, Troy, that's a great profile pick. Troy, I got to say, I have to wonder if they're going to go with a young guy, only because even if you do go with a young guy, and we know Devontae said he doesn't want that, and they're not going to design the football team around Devontae, okay? He's just going to have to accept that. He's got a 4-year deal. He's got 4 years left on his deal. He's not going anywhere. 3.5, whatever. But if we go and get a young quarterback, they're going to expect to have him playing in a 1.5 years at most. You just pay first-round picks, and you get them for cheap. So you want to find out if they're good, get 3 years out of them, and then give them the bag if they're good. But if they're not, then move on from them. You can't find out if you don't let them play. DeAndre Miller says, first time tuning in for a while. Actually had time too since I'm shut down because of the I-40s closed. Oh, DeAndre Miller, I'm sorry, brother. Love your wedding picture, and I'm sorry you're stuck in traffic. I will try to entertain you as best I can to make the time fly by. Ted Thane says, if the Raiders sign Lewin, who Ziegler has a connection with, and he clearly respects the Raiders franchise, does that change drafting a tackle at 7? I think it does, Ted. I don't know why you would waste a first-round pick on a tackle when you could get another tackle later on in the draft. One of the things that busts the least is linemen, offensive and defensive. And there's as many in this draft as there's been in a long time on both sides of the ball. In fact, I have a stat I was going to throw at you later, but I'll just throw it now. There are more defensive ends and edge rushers, okay, which are basically the same thing. Defensive ends, there's more in this draft than in the first 150 players than there's ever been in a draft that they've seen in a long, long time. I heard more than one scout say, and I quote, there's more defensive ends in the first 150 picks as far as talent level. You know how they evaluate them? Okay, there's more defensive ends than any other position in the top 150 players that they polled, that they scouted. So among the players that they scouted in the top 150, there's more defensive ends than any other position. So there's going to be a ton of help coming off the corner in this draft. So we have no explanation if we can't get a D end this draft, because I'm talking about guys even from little schools like South Dakota have defensive ends with really nice sack statistics, big frames, fast, gonna light up the combine. So this year, offensive line, defensive line, and in particular, obviously, quarterback, at least 4 quarterbacks, maybe 5, that you could argue could change a franchise's history in this next draft. Frank Raider Blue said, pick him up. He is a beast. Okay. Yeah, the O-line did overachieve. I agree with that. Taylor Lowen had 2 torn ACLs. John Leon, the ACL tear is not the career ender it used to be. You get your surgery, you heal for a year, and you come back. I don't see that as a reason not to bring him in. If he was playing well, he was playing well. Because from what I understand, the Texans let him go because of money, not because of injuries. They're not re-signing him because of money, cap space. Matt Marinovich agrees with you, though. He says Lewin may be a swing tackle at best. I don't know if I agree with that. Frank Raider Valou says, at 7, you are moving back. You need a cornerback. You need Witherspoon or Gonzalez. Hell no to a quarterback. Frank Raider Valou, welcome to the show. I do think that in most of the conversations they've had that they're dropping back in the draft. But I just don't know if Josh McDaniels is going to keep himself from being tempted when he sees this quarterback sitting there, because I'm positive one of these quarterbacks is going to fall to 7. He may not even have to move up, because I heard Will Anderson is falling because of other defensive players. And so there's going to be one of these 3 or 4 quarterbacks that's going to be available at 7. And I just don't know if Dave Ziegler, Josh will pull the trigger. Ziegler was on Bussin' with Boys talking to Taylor Lewin about their time in high school. Yeah. A Ferrari is a fine mobile, but most people have to take lessons to learn how to drive it because it's not like all other automobiles. There you go. What's up, Niner Beto? Always there for a Raider Bear. Ted Thane, I watched Lewin for a long time as a Michigan fan. He'd be a huge signing, in my opinion. Sign Lewin and we can possibly go for the Porter-Ramsey duo. I like the idea of Witherspoon and Jalen Ramsey because I think there's a chance that Witherspoon will still be there on our number 2 pick. Because remember, our number 2 pick is only like 38. Is he in the top 38 players? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. And then also there's Joey Porter Jr.'s kid. You know, him and Ramsey would be nice. So there's combinations there at cornerback. Someone's going to be available at that 38 spot when we get to number 2, and then we're going to nail it. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Ziegler's recent comment didn't sit well with me at all. How do you not have a plan to fill the quarterback position this year for us in defense? I get it, but we still need a quarterback. Aaron Ramos, I would tell you that one of the most recent rumors that I heard that to me made a little bit of sense. Now, not sense in the normal sense, like, oh, it works. I think that would be good for the Raiders. But in the sense of a general manager making a move, I could see them making a move for Taylor Heinicke, the quarterback with the Washington Commanders, formerly Redskins. Now, Taylor Heinicke's tough. He's smart. He can learn the offense. He's great in the locker room. But more importantly, he's a bridge quarterback. He's one of those guys that's kind of like people are still on the fence. Is he a starter? Is he a backup? Is he going to get stuck as a backup? Could he be a starter if someone really gave him a chance? You still get that smell of Taylor Heinicke that people still feel like the jury's out on him. He's young enough that you could still find out that maybe he could carry a team. So you bring in a guy like Taylor Heinicke, now you can bring in whoever you want out of the draft and make him your number 2 or 3 and let him sit there and go through the motions with Taylor Heinicke for a year or 2. See what you can do, and then bring the young guy up to win a ring. I like Hamilton of Florida a lot more than Levis. Well, it's not about whether Hamilton is better than Levis or not. I would give you that there are other quarterbacks that might be more dynamic than Levis, like C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. But part of a scout's job is to see what talent is going to grow into something greater than what it was in school. It's not just going by what you saw in school. What did you see them do in school that gives you the idea that they could evolve? You know what I mean? Because you can't go to the NFL level and play like you did in college. If you go to the NFL level and play like you did in college, you won't have a job long. Pete Vasquez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I feel, oh, great profile picture. I feel so many good-looking Raider fans. I feel like our questions have been answered if we do a little more digging on the contract of Ziegler McDaniels. What did they really promise Davis? Pete Vasquez, we know that they have minimum 5 years. I know that scares everyone hearing me say that, but I'm pretty sure they have a minimum of 5 years. Remember, they gave John Gruden, Mark Davis gave John Gruden a 10-year deal. So it could be pretty big. I don't know how big it is, but it could be pretty big. He didn't let everyone know this time. And Josh McDaniels is keeping quiet about it. But I would argue it's minimum 5 years because he did slip once and say in year 4 or 5, maybe I'll hire an offensive coordinator. Now we have hired an offensive coordinator, but he was joking about 6 months ago that in 4 or 5 years, maybe I'll do that. Well, you don't jokingly say in 4 or 5 years unless you're pretty certain that you're going to be around for 4 or 5 years. So I have a feeling that his contract is solid to the extent of Mark Davis can't touch him until year 4 or 5 as far as firing him or negotiating a new contract or getting a different coach. It's going to take 4 or 5 years, I think, before Mark Davis can really get to that point. Levante David, Javon Hargrave, Jesse Bates III, Jimmy Ward, or Bradbury. Let's get 2 of these guys. Got to cash out Mark Davis. I personally would want Hargrave and Bates. I like Bates too. I think you're talking about the kid from the Bengals, right? He's nice. Anthony Acosta, welcome to the show. Beautiful babies, brother. And a great comment. I happen to agree with that to a certain extent because why wouldn't you want veteran guys at corner? So, yeah. Raiders, Frankie Raider Valou. All D, no QB this year. We're going 3-14 and the top pick next year. That's the master plan. Don't be fooled. Well, Frank Raider Valou, I don't know if they're going to go that bad. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-win season next year. I just have a feeling that they're going to go ahead and let Jarrett Stidham do his thing. I think all this speculation we're doing is going to end up anticlimactic at like glorious levels. And it's going to end up being a real boring, here's Jarrett Stidham, and we're going to get some defensive pieces and try to win with him. And then they'll get another quarterback, but it'll just be someone like Garbers, you know what I mean? Or someone like McGloin that we used to have to play backup. Gabe Ramirez says CJ Stroud is the best in this draft, in his opinion. Well, is that going off of his play and his stats and what you've seen him do? Or you're saying he's the best in terms of he's the most likely to come to the NFL and be great? I'm curious. Let me know what you mean, Gabe. Frank Raider, I agree. That was embarrassing, but they've done it to a lot of teams. It wasn't just us. It's just that they showed it in the highlights on ESPN repeatedly because it was against us. So we found out about it. But they even ran it against the Eagles. You know what I mean? So that they've been running it. You know what I mean? At first, I thought it was this just shot insult at the Raiders trying to clown us, saying they were playing, dipsy-do. We can beat you so easy, but they actually have been running that play against other teams. Michael Guerrero, appreciate you checking me out on YouTube. Hopefully like and follow your boy on YouTube. Jose Tariquez, the betting odds in Vegas have Rodgers going to the Raiders. I don't know how reliable that is. Jose Tariquez, I just don't know if Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels can tell Mark Davis that they're building for the long term and then bring in Aaron Rodgers. You see what I mean? Something's not making sense if Aaron Rodgers is here. I'm not saying I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I do want Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, if they're going to do it, how are they going to do a 10-year build? He's not a guy that's going to be here for that long. He would only be here for maybe 2 years. So you're not building for 10 years. If you bring him in, you're building for 2 or 3. You know what I mean? And a win right now mentality, where they said when they were hired that they convinced Mark Davis that the strategy is to build a team that consistently wins over the long haul. Well, if that's the case, that's not bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Not to me. It's win right now with Aaron Rodgers, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? But don't sell us that it's the long-term answer strategy and then bring in Aaron Rodgers any more than you were trying to do with Tom Brady. Is that long-term? Adam Mayo says Jacoby Brissett. Adam Mayo, honestly, that's who I want, because I think they're going to go boring and just go with Jarrett Stidham. So if you're going to go with Jarrett Stidham, why not go with someone physically stronger and really a better quarterback, in my opinion, in Jacoby Brissett? Tony Carpenter, Evans on deck. McShady is that kind of guy to not say a word about A-Rod hyping all the Raider fans. Yeah. No, Michael Guerrero, you can't take Witherspoon that high. You would be able to get him later in the draft. Not late, but later. Edgar Lucky DeLeon says that Devontae Adams won't like playing with Jordan Love. I disagree, only because he knows what Jordan Love is. So if he thinks he stinks, I still disagree, because he's going to go out there to show the Raiders that and say, okay, let's see if he can get me the ball. You know what I mean? Because there's not much else he can really do. Jason Arrigue says, what do I think of the quarterback from TCU? I don't like his size, but other than that, I like everything else. I think his progression reading, I think his running ability, even his speed is all right, but I just think he's a little bit on the smaller side, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going from memory, though. Isn't he a little bit on the not 6 foot side? Jerry Molina said, what about the defense? Jerry Molina, I have a strong sense that they're going to go mostly free agency on defense. So they're going to look to Jalen Ramsey. They're going to look maybe to linebacker. They're going to look to defensive tackle. And then with other of the 12 picks we're going to have in free agency, in the draft, they'll look for defensive pieces there as well. All your caps are sick, Bear, but you had one on earlier or last night. Huge black and what American flag with the shield. That one is fire. Yeah, I don't think it's in here right now. I think I took it off. Oh, wait a minute. Oh! It just got turned around. Here we go. Yeah, and you see fitted. Don't wonder it's not a snapback. I don't have any problem with snapbacks. I just usually buy fitteds when I can. This is a fitted. So, Greg Lloyd, what's up? Welcome to the show. What quarterback love might be coming to us? I'm not saying Love's coming to us. That's not even a rumor. I'm just saying, basically, if Aaron Rodgers were to go back to Green Bay, Love's not going to stay. And they're going to want to move Love at that point, because Love's going to shout to the rafters that he wants to be traded because he's just tired of sitting there. Is this Murph from Raiders Fan Radio? You know what? You know what, Niner Sickness? You can't make me not like you. You just can't do it, okay? You can call me Murph all you like, okay? You're not gonna make me not like you. Brian Whitfield, the only coaching release I know of is the defensive lineman recently. He has like a weird name, Okoas or Okum or something like that. But he was just tied to Patrick Graham. I honestly feel like the firing of the defensive line coach was just a message to Patrick Graham, to get us right or you're next. You know what I mean? So I really think that's all that was. He was an expendable asset coach that was brought over with Patrick Graham. So we fired him to tell Patrick Graham, we don't like what we see. We're going to need to see more. Cipriano Ramirez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I live off the 40. I'm sure it's in a bunch of stretches, hopefully decent accommodations as opposed to roughing. Okay, I didn't understand that at all. We need a pass rusher on the other side of Max. Troy Gill, I don't know if you were in here earlier when I said this, but they're saying basically in the top 150 players, the number one position you see the most in the top 150 of the most talented players, defensive end dominates the top 150 best players. What do you think about the A's possibly moving to Vegas? Would they play in in Allegiant? I don't know if they play in Allegiant. In fact, I'm pretty sure no, they would not. They won't play in Allegiant. They're getting their own park. But as far as what do I think of the move, I'm sure you're asking because you know I'm an A's fan. If you didn't, and for anyone who didn't know, I'm an Oakland A's fan. I think the move to Vegas is smart because you're following A's fans that are hybrid Raider fans from the Oakland A's, Oakland Raiders bond that used to be there. You're reigniting that by moving the Oakland team that was the football team, now moving the Oakland team that's the baseball team to Vegas. In addition, is just going to create a kismet there for Raider and A's fans. Very nice, Val. No, I know you're not giving me a hard time. I know you're just yanking my chain. Raider Rick Flairbear, who is better, Riley Moss or Witherspoon? Riley Moss is better. Witherspoon at second pick 38. I would be happier with both players, but probably only will get one. Okay, no, I'm saying Riley Moss would be better, but that's why he won't be available there. So I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question at first. Witherspoon will be available at 38 because Riley Moss will come off the board first. And then after Riley Moss, although I don't think that Joey Porter Jr., I don't know that he's a better talent than Witherspoon, but I think his name recognition and the ins and outs of the NFL that his dad will give him, I could see some NFL owners, coaches, or combination of the two seeing that as a benefit and bringing him in. Once you do that, Witherspoon falls to 38 almost for sure, and we pick him up. Yeah, Ana Diaz Rincon is correct. They're trying to build a stadium at a new location in Vegas, the Rio. Bear, it's okay to mention that you are on YouTube. Yes, Michael Guerrero, I am on YouTube, and I am enjoying it big time, and I hope my YouTube followers now are enjoying it too. 5 years with Mick Imbecile. Mick Imbecile, we got a new one. I can't write what I'm thinking on a family show. Right? Okay, Mark Alvarez, listen, I know you're trying to get me to cuss by writing things like possibly Jimmy G getting signed, but no, that is not happening. Bozilla in the house. What's up, Bobo? Welcome to the show, though. Wouldn't it be amazing to get to the Super Bowl? Though I honestly don't see that happening with Mark Davis and McDumdum. Well, you know, Kim, welcome again. And I have to say, I agree. I do. I agree. I don't see that. If anything, if we had got Aaron Rodgers confirmed now, and we know we've got him with Devontae Adams, and we know they're going to have a good year, that doesn't mean we're going to win a Super Bowl. Josh McDaniels could just as easily screw it up. I agree. In your expert opinion, what is the better option for the Raiders right now? Address tackle in free agency and draft Levis at 7, or draft Skoronski at 7 and Hooker in the second? I agree with you. Or goal has to be keeping the Chiefs from winning it all in our house. We cannot have that. The Chiefs cannot win in Vegas. If there was ever a priority 0, DEFCON 5, fire the nukes, it's now. We cannot have them win a Super Bowl in Vegas. It cannot happen. All right, now answering your question, I think that you could get away with not addressing the quarterback situation this season and look at quarterbacks down the road, or you could go veteran and then go with Will Levis, veteran free agent, and then go Will Levis. Now, I've thrown this name out there a couple of times in Ryan Tannehill. I don't think Ryan Tannehill gets enough respect. And I'm one of the first who on my show, I apologize to him because I laughed at him all the time. I laughed at the idea of a wide receiver becoming a quarterback. And then year by year, slowly he became better. And then with the Titans, he got in the playoffs. And so I think that guy is legit. I think you bring in a guy like that, he wins the locker room. Again, another guy that's a locker room presence. I don't know if you guys remember this, but way back when we were having problems in the streets with Black Lives Matter protests, and Black Lives Matter was protesting everywhere, Ryan Tannehill was one of the first guys who got up with every black player on his team and went and stood in front of all of them and did a public service message about how they need to stop the violence and how we need to reform police form and so on and so forth. It was beautiful. So Ryan Tannehill, to me, balls, tough, survivor. You know what I mean? I like that guy. I admire that guy. He literally overcame and survived in the NFL level, learning quarterback. I would have told you that was impossible. I'd still tell you that's impossible. With guys who play the position in college, it's difficult. Now you got a guy who's only a wide receiver, and he's converting to quarterback. That's incredible. So if we brought him in as the veteran quarterback to be the bridge to CJ Stroud or Will Levis or Bryce Young, totally on board. Otherwise, you go right tackle, you draft down, you get Witherspoon at number 38 in the second round, and then even lower than that in the third, you could get Hendon Hooker. There's going to be a lot of people looking away from Hendon Hooker because of his build and the Achilles tear, which, again, I don't think is a career ender or anything like that, like it used to be. But, you know, what do you know? But remember, consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page. It's just $5 on YouTube. On Facebook, you can cancel at any time, but you won't want to because we work with huge charities like the Kind Fund, Kids in Need of Death, Punks for Autism, World Wildlife Organization, and on and on and on. So look for us. Support Raider Bear Family Page on Facebook and subscribe, like, and follow on YouTube. We love you for that. Aaron Rico said, "Hi, Raiders!" What's up, brother? Welcome to the show from New Mexico. Let's see. No, it's at the Tropicana site 100%. Okay. Do you actually expect Mick Stupid to make sense? Oh, anytime anyone says I'm right, I put that up. Appreciate the love, Steven. Oh, look at that cool beard, how he's got it tied together. That's dope. I'm on both Facebook and YouTube. Love the show and Mama Bear also. Appreciate you, Kim. Can that coaching staff even control Rodgers? William Brown, I don't know about controlling him, but how much control do you really have to have over him if you really know you're only going to keep him maybe 3 years, tops? You know what I mean? You're going to give him a 4-year deal, and he's only going to get halfway through that or maybe 3 tops, and then they'll let him go. You know what I mean? Because we'll know what we have and what he's got left at that point. If we got Rodgers and Ramsey, that could change the Raiders big time. Matthew Lincoln, I completely agree. I think it's something they should consider. Now, if you only get Ramsey, that could make a big change. Because we have to remember, although he's lost a little bit of step, he's still one of the better cornerbacks in all of football. And he's a cover island guy. I need a guy like that on one side of the ball. And then whatever we work out on the other side, that guy can be so-so. No, not a all-star stud. But if we can just find someone competent in free agency to play there, like Barry coming out of the Eagles after that holding call, you know, he's going to be a free agent. Get him in here. You know, that guy could play. Frankie Raider Valou, yeah, no more little guys. We need to get people in here who can actually cover. I agree. Believe he is the most talented at his position and will be great in the NFL. The decision-making and extending plays was one of the best I've seen. I'm not worried about his size, and he can always bulk up. Gabe Ramirez, well, you can't really bulk up because then it messes with your throwing motion. So, and I don't expect him to do that. I wouldn't expect him to do that. It may be 10 pounds, but at best, because you just don't want it to mess with his throwing motion. But I appreciate your answer because, to be honest with you, that's what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for who's going to become a true NFL player or who's just going to come up to the NFL and be what they always were in college, because that's not good enough. You know what I mean? Nicholas Ramos, they know they're going to cut him, though. He's got bonuses coming the same way Derek Carr did, to where if he's on the roster, they have to pay them. So he's going to get released here sooner or later. Do we pick pass rusher or corner at 7? Well, we don't go corner at 7. If it's me picking, I'm not saying I'm against that. If they brought in Witherspoon or one of the other high-level defensive backs, I'm forgetting the name of the other guy at the moment, but the one from Iowa, Moss. But if you bring in one of those guys, then okay, that's a number 1 cover corner, but those guys also have high bust potential. You know what I mean? Remember, we were really in love with Trayvon Merrick, and it wasn't Trayvon Mullen, and it wasn't Trayvon Mullen's ability, it was his inability to stay on the field. So I would say defensive end Troy Gill, but that's not where they're going to go. All the rumors tell me offensive line or trade down, and that they're not going to go for quarterback right away, that they're going to just look for someone or go with Jared Stidham and look for someone to back him up, have another bad year, and then maybe go for a quarterback after that. Who knows? Or maybe just keep drafting veteran. Or maybe they know they have what's in place to get Aaron Rodgers. We should know momentarily, because it's like today or tomorrow, I think, at the latest. We're getting beyond 4 days. Tanamoku said the latest is that the Rio location, the papers posted story that Rio's owners are supposedly in favor of it. Right on. That would be great to see the A's in Vegas. No one's going to stay in Oakland for any reason. It's just not going to happen. Okay, then you're right. See, now, Mark Vargas, I'm posting your comment because I was just mistaken. I was trying to visualize how I saw him, and I think I just confused him with someone else. If he's 6'2", 225, that's plenty big enough. Mark Alvarez said, what's your size? I usually walk around at 6'2", 6'3", 188 to 200 pounds, somewhere in there. I fluctuate. Sherry J. Abstinner, womb toss, tomb, cradle to grave, Raider girl till I die. But man, I wish they'd get their stuff together, get us a playoff team, right, Sherry? It's coming, hon. You hold on tight. That's what we do. We don't go anywhere. It don't wash off. They want to be on the strip. Okay. Okay. Is there anything we can do about Chandler Jones' contract? No. And to be honest with you, John Leon, I've heard more than one expert say that the Raiders should feel him out. In other words, let him get this next season in. If for no other reason than he's a veteran, and most people felt like he wasn't in tip-top shape, and he was getting into shape throughout the beginning of the year. Thus, if you really look back, and I know you don't have to, I know you'll remember this because all Raider fans remember the season, but Chandler Jones got better as the season got longer because he was getting in shape progressively. He'll start this season in better shape as a result, and I think he'll have a better season. Maybe not the value of $51 million, but he'll definitely have more sacks, I think. And I do think that. Bear, you need to cross over and come to the Hotlanta Braves side. See, that's the thing. That's why I'm such a good fan. I don't quit on what I love. Mark Vargas, you're an A's fan? Right on. Okay. Disappointed if the A's left, but the only place I'd settle for them going. Yeah, David Pelkliver, I don't want them to leave Oakland either. I was born in Oakland, but I understand the economics of Oakland. Ted Payne, I appreciate the love. I actually like the White Sox. What was the connection there? Oh, yeah, Klay Thompson of my Golden State Warriors. His little brother, I think, plays for your White Sox, doesn't he? I heard he's a little bit of a hitter. Do we actually need the flashy or the household name at quarterback? Don't we arguably have the best wide receiver, the top running back, the top tight end? We have pieces in place, but just to get them the ball in space. I did watch several first halves last year that we totally dominated on offense and then just stopped and took our foot off the gas. Is that not suspicious to anyone else besides saying Josh's playing sucked? Did Josh do it intentionally? Was that on purpose to make a case to dump Carr? His play calling did work then. Nathan Matthews, yes. To give you the simplest answer, you're correct. He sabotaged Derek Carr's career because he knew Mark Davis put a 1 year out in his contract in case he didn't like him. And then he used sabotage to say to Mark Davis, hey, look, I'm going to use that 1 year out because, look, I can't work with that guy. You know what I mean? And we can all say it was sabotage, but why would he not want to work with that quarterback if he was going to be successful? So I would argue with you that Derek Carr was being uncooperative with him because it's his job and he didn't like being told how to do his job. But Josh McDaniels was essentially saying to him, I know what we're calling. I know the plays. You call what I call, or you can come sit down. And then Derek was still audible here and there, and they would get into fights, and they weren't getting along. Princetta Jean, we do definitely have to fix the defense if we're going to go anywhere. Kenneth Parsons says, who is better defensive prospect to pair with Mad Max? Andre Carter II, or who do you like? There's quite a few defensive ends. I would pick Andre Carter of Army because not just because you mentioned him, but more importantly, because he's built a lot like Max Crosby too. I don't want to get a big giant guy who's going to play a different style. I want two speedsters that are hurricanes doing spin moves and swim moves, and then let him do what Max did, put on 15, 25 pounds, and then let the power come with the speed. So, yeah, I would love the pairing of the young man from Army. Yes, Scotty Lutz, that's completely correct. It's just the infrastructure of Oakland, the city itself, the stadium, it's too far beyond repair to where the cost is pointless in trying to fix it. And they're just not going to do it. All right, guys, that is my show. I really appreciate you all tuning in, but it's that time again for the best darn show on Facebook and YouTube now about the Raiders to call it a night. And that would be your boy right here. And I would say that it's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. And it'll be even more fun next time. And we'll get together and we'll do it again. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. Outrageous! And I will see you tomorrow night. Raider Bear Family Page. Peace!